Today we're going to be doing an overview of Fellow products. I have most of what Fellow products has already released here in front of me, and I'm going to do an overview of each and every product and tell you what I think about them and whether I think they're worth the money or not. So first off, I want to say welcome to Kabin's Coffee Corner. This channel is designed to help you choose the coffee gear you want to brew with at home. If you find this video useful, please like and subscribe. That really helps me produce more content. If you're looking at purchasing anything you see here in the video, please use the link below. I'll make a slight amount of commission at no extra charge to you. I also have an Instagram account and you're more than welcome to follow me there. It's at Kabin's Coffee Corner. So let's go ahead and dive into it. I've had most of these for quite a while. Outside the Ode is fairly new to me, but other than that, they've been here for a while. So first off, we're going to start with the Fellow Stag EKG, which is right here. This is their pour over kettle. It comes with this base. It's a little dirty. Sorry about that. This kettle cost $150 to $200. And if you go a little higher, you can add these wooden accents for like an additional $50. You can get them in a dark wood or the light color wood that I have here. If not, it's standard black. Overall, this is probably one of my favorite Fellow pieces that I've had. I have the one that is $200. It's the EKG Plus, and it has a Bluetooth connection, so I can turn it on and off with my phone from anywhere in my apartment, as well as set the temperature. It has great control. My two cons for this is it pours very slowly. So if you're filling up tea, if you're filling up a flare or a manual espresso machine where you don't need the control, you can't really pour it out as quickly as I would like to. But for pour overs, which is what this is designed for, it works extraordinarily well. The Bluetooth feature was worth the extra money. My second complaint is there is no cord storage. I wish you could wrap the cord around somewhere so it wouldn't be sitting on the countertop. The wooden accents are nice. At first I didn't like them, but the more I use it, the more it feels comfortable to use. So overall, I'd highly recommend this. The next is the Fellow Ode. The Fellow Ode I've had for about a couple weeks now. It's a coffee grinder. It has a 64 millimeter flat burrs, which is basically two flat circles that sit on top of each other to grind the beans. It runs around $300. Overall, I think it's okay. It does a better job than the Baratza Encore. It doesn't do as well as my Commandant, but overall it does a good job. I find it a little clunky with this magnetic catch tray here. If grounds come out and sitting on top of it, it can scratch the metal plate here on the bottom, which is kind of disappointing for the price point of a grinder like this. I wish this knocking thing on the side worked better than it does, but overall it is a good grinder and it's better than the Encore and it does a great job. The next thing is the Fellow Atmos containers. These are the largest size and the smallest size. Well, the largest size and the middle size. I don't have the smallest size. You can buy these in black, white, or glass, and these I am a very big fan of. I like to store my beans in there. I have a lot of different beans in here, and with this matte black, you can write on it with chalk and then just wipe it off with a towel, and you can change whatever beans that you have on them. Over time, I have noticed that the black coating on the bottom is coming off kind of around the bottom, and on this top edging around here too. It's also kind of getting chipped over time. I've had this for a couple of years now, so that's kind of to be expected. It is a little annoying to have to basically take this lid off and then you have to move it back and forth quite a bit for it to actually suck out the air, but it does do a good job of keeping beans fresh and it looks great on a countertop. I also have the AirScape one, and I prefer this over the AirScape, but the AirScape is a little bit quicker to use. Next is the Fellow Stag Dripper. I'm assuming now, when I bought it, it did not come with this funnel, but now I believe they come with a little funnel to simply just help loading coffee grounds into it. It's a flat bottom dripper, and it has 10 holes, I think, on the bottom of it, and it has this little tray here to basically weigh the beans and pour it out in there, which I found really, really nicely. It also sets well on top of it, so you can, after you make your pour over, you can just put this on top of it and it'll catch little drips for you. It's a great matte black color that matches the Atmoses really well. It has the wave filters just like this, so you put those filters in You put this on top of it, and it makes it go. It makes it really, really easy to load coffee grounds with that funnel in there. I like, this is probably my favorite dripper that I have. I have Kalita Waves, I have V60s, I have Chemexes, but this is my go-to dripper because of just how well of a cup of coffee it produces, its looks, its durability, so I could throw this in a backpack and take it traveling if I want to, and it always does a great job. My con about it though is I don't like the weaves on the filters a little bit, because when you pre-wet it, it's hard to like not mess up the filter a little bit, and it's hard to make it level. So you can put it on a carafe like this, and you really just have to make sure that you have it fully level on there, which can be a little bit of a pain, versus the ones that have kind of like a V60 has a piece that goes this way and that way. Same with the Kalita Wave. It makes it a little bit easier to level onto a carafe or something along the lines of that. This is one of Fellow's carafes. I can't really remember the name of it. I think it's $27. This is $70, I believe. And it also comes with the Stag tasting glass, which I'm going to get to in a bit. I forgot to grab that, so I'm going to have to go back and get it. But I really like this carafe. It's the smoke version. It pours very well. Pretty much every carafe I get, it has little drips on here. But it's $27. It's a single wall glass, and the smoke just looks nice. And I really like it. This is the carafe that I choose out of the 5 or 6 carafes that I do have. This is the Fellow Prismo. The Fellow Prismo is an attachment for the AeroPress. And what you simply do with this is it has a metal filter here. I still typically put the paper filter on top of it. And it has this pressure sensored hole on the bottom. So basically you can make an AeroPress without having to do the inverted method, and it won't drip out until you put pressure on there. I probably travel the most with the AeroPress, and this replaced my flare. I used to travel with the flare. If I'd ever go on vacation, I'd pack up the flare and go, but one of the things I didn't like about it is dialing in with a hand grinder takes a little bit of work. So now I simply just take the Prismo, and it makes quote-unquote espresso shots, where it's not full espresso shots because you're not getting 9 bars of pressure. It's more like maybe 1 to 2, if that. But it gives espresso consistency and espresso style enough where I will drink it straight and I'll be content with it. It also makes really good iced lattes, and I've been really, really happy with the Fellow Prismo so far. And I've had this since the beginning, since it released. It's probably the oldest Fellow product that I have on the table is this, and I've been very, very happy with it since, and I don't ever see myself replacing it, and just makes my AeroPress experience so much better. I never brew without the Prismo. No matter how I brew with the AeroPress, it's always on. This is another Fellow carafe. This is their dual-walled one. It usually comes with the Stag XF, which is the bigger version of this dripper. And you can kind of get a bundle like that. I think the bundle is like $100, give or take. I think the carafe is $40. Don't quote me on any of this. It has this little silicone lid on here. One of the nice things about it is it does keep heat better. And it has this nice little lid. And when you pick it up, your hand does not get hot with it. So if you want to like make a big pour over and split it with people and put it on a table and then do a refill with it, this is probably the way to go. One of the things I don't like about it is it almost always has a little dribble off of it that runs down when I pour. I do whatever I can to do, but I pretty much have to stop it with my finger to get that fixed. When you do fill it with hot beverages all the way to the top, you can start to feel the heat right here, and that makes it very, very hard to hold. And when it's heavy, it tends to slide out of your hand, and it makes it, when you fill it like all the way up to here, it makes it kind of hard to carry, and I'm often fearful of dropping it. So I probably would not buy this again. It was a gift, and it really mostly sits on a shelf compared to the newer version that they have here. That's pretty thick walls of glass, and it just does a very good job. So I'd prefer this one over that other one. Now let's move to this pitcher. This, I can't remember, this is, I think their 10-ounce pitcher or 12-ounce pitcher. I really like this. From what I've heard from people who are actual baristas, they prefer something like the slow pour pitchers over this, but I found that this is about the size I need for any milk drink that I make. I feel like I have a lot more control with this than some of the other random pitchers that I bought. The one thing I don't like about it is I don't like the finish gets very fingerprinty, and you have to make sure you like wipe it off with a wet cloth and then dry it really quickly and really kind of like buff it out to make it shinier, where you're not seeing all these like fingerprint oils on there. So it's just the fingerprint oils that bothered me a little bit. I also did notice that the black finish is coming off on the bottom side of it, so I don't know how they put it on there, but it will not last forever based off of the fact that I've been using it in a home environment for a little bit. But it does do very good pours. I don't do a lot of milk drinks, but when I do, I'm a big fan of this, and I don't see myself replacing it unless I went to slow pour and wanted to get one of their mugs, but I think they're more expensive than these, but these are still kind of up there. Now let's move on to travel cups. We have the Fellow Carter Move mug in the 8-ounce version, and we have the Fellow Carter mug, not Move mug. What I like about this one is it's still matching their flat matte finish. That's pretty much on everything that you see here. From all of this just fits so well together. When you put all of this black color together, it just does a very, very good job of it. It's got the same texture that these Atmoses have and the same texture that this dripper has. I really like the bag, and I think what would make me really happy is if this would fit in my cup holder, because the Move mug does not fit in a cup holder of a 2004 Buick. It fits in a lot of other cars though. Mine just has weird cup holders, I guess. This one does not. This one comes with this nice little bag. This one has this little splash guard right here. And this splash guard prevents it from, so when you're walking, it won't splash in your face, versus the other one, it might be a little wet on the inside because I just used it yesterday. The other one, when you walk with it, it can easily splash. I typically do find myself traveling with this, however, because I find putting it in this bag, and it's nice to just be able to really smell your coffee when you open it up and things like that when you get to some place. So typically I will make a pour over into this, I'll put it in the bag, and then I can just carry it anywhere with my pinky by just looping it on here. And then when I get to my place, I can fold back this and just unscrew it and sit down and drink coffee. Whether it's like on my way to work, when I get to work, I'll have a nice hot cup of coffee if I want it. But I don't typically drink out of it in the car because of the splash part of it. I think what would make me really happy in a mug is if this was just a little more narrow, or even if it was the same size and they put it in this bag. Because if I want to kind of have the no splash guard, I can remove this pretty easily, but having it and being able to add it in there is really, really nice. I just wish it was easier to carry when you carry a bunch of books or whatever else, a laptop, things like that. It's really nice to be able to loop this around your finger, but overall this is pretty good. I'm going to quickly go grab my other mug that I forgot here, and then we're going to get back to it. Alright, I'm back. I have all the mugs. So I believe this is most of Fellow's lineup for cups, if not all of them, minus the sizes. So we have the Fellow Joey mug. This is the 8-ounce one, and this is the espresso cup that they have in the Fellow Joey version. This is the Monty, which is also the same as the Monty milk picture. That's part of the same line. This comes in, I think, three or four different sizes. This again is the espresso version, and then we have the Fellow Tasting Glass. The Fellow Tasting Glass comes, you can get it in a bundle with this, and it fits perfectly together, so you can brew straight into your Fellow glass. It is nice to be able to see how full it is when you brew with the Stag X. Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about these. There's something about this cup that I really enjoy drinking from it, but when I go pick out an espresso cup from my cabinet, this is not the one I choose. The reason for that is they put this nice little finish on the bottom of it, and that makes it not dishwasher safe. It is a nice mug. It's a dual-walled mug. I like the looks of it. I like the feel when drinking of it, but I wish you could put it in the dishwasher. And when pulling a shot, if you get any sprays or anything like that, it's just a smaller diameter of a hole to kind of aim your espresso in. And if you pull a perfectly well extracted shot, that's not going to be an issue. But if you mess out at all, this is the easiest cup that I have to miss the cup when pulling a shot of espresso. This is the Monty version of it, which is another espresso cup. This is meant for latte art, so they designed the bottom of this curved to help pour with latte art. So this is how I make macchiato. Is what I typically make out of this. The same with the coffee shop that I go to locally. They use this as their macchiato cup, and it works great. I really like drinking straight espresso out of this. I use it for macchiatos. This has a nice finish on the bottom of it, and it's dishwasher safe. But there's something about like the way you hold this with this bigger bottom here. It just wraps really well around your fingers versus any other cup that I have, which makes me like this one more. But again, I don't go for it much because of the small diameter of the hole and the fact it's not dishwasher safe. And notice how on here it's flat on the bottom with kind of a ridge here. So pouring latte art in this is not very easy compared to this. This mug is an 8-ounce mug from Caldi's Coffee. They branded it with their little goat logo. But I like this mug, again, to drink from, but it doesn't get used a lot because of how big it is. This is an 8-ounce cup here, and this is a 10-ounce cup. And this just feels so wide and so big at this size. It's just not the most comfortable thing to hold in the world. And I couldn't imagine what the 12-ounce cup would be because that's even bigger than this. But this is like the size for the Joey mug if you want it. It fits well in the hand. But yeah, it's nice. It's dual-walled. It's great, but it's comfortable to drink out of, but it's hard to hold. And when pouring latte art or anything like that, it's very, very hard because of the narrow top. These are definitely the way to go. And these actually stack on top of each other versus the Joey mugs do not. However, you can fit the little Joey on top of the big one like that, if that so meets your fancy. The tasting glass. The tasting glass is another one of my favorite products from Fellow. They have the dual-walled here, and they have the thin single-walled top here, which just feels really, really nice to drink from. It keeps your drink a little bit hotter for a little bit longer, which is nice if you like that. And it's just, I like having this clear glass to drink from, and I really, really enjoy it. I think these are like $20 for 2 of them or something like that, or if you buy it with the pour over, it comes together. However, I did notice when you make a pour over like this, it makes it not the greatest because the cup gets too hot, because there's no way for heat to really escape. It fits very well in there, and it was designed for each other clearly, but the problem is it gets way, way too hot. So when it's a dual wall glass like this, I prefer to pour from a carafe into this to let the coffee cool down for a better drinking temperature, and it won't get the glass super hot, which is kind of crazy with the dual wall, that the outside of it does feel too hot to grab when you make a pour over directly into it. So I hope this kind of helped you with getting an idea of Fellow's products and Fellow's lineups, but most of their stuff is great. I've used all of this a lot. I think most of this I would buy again in some form of it, except for this was just not the greatest for me. I haven't heard great things about the French press and some of the other stuff that they have that I don't have. But overall, all these products, Fellow has done a great job, and they've done a great job of making all of these look good together. If you had just simply this black mug, the Ode, this dripper, and this kettle, and this Atmos, all you need is a black Acaia scale, and you have a great looking pour over setup just off of aesthetic purposes. You can get a lot of these in white too if white's your thing and you prefer to change it, except Black is more their thing. They don't have this in white, and they don't have the Ode in white yet either. But overall, great setup. So if you find this video useful, please like and subscribe. And if you're looking at purchasing these, please use the link below in the description. And thank you so much for watching.